Hello YouTube. So I'm not really sure if you've noticed, but Calgary has had one of the hottest real estate years that it's had in recorded history. But for the 90% of you who haven't subscribed yet, please consider hovering over that button to support the channel. Today, I'm going to tell you a story about how Calgary went from zero to hero in about 12 months. So let's get into it. 2021 was just a glimpse of what life was like in 2005 and 2014 when Calgary was just a boomin'. Oil and gas was a driving force for our economy, and people would call you dumb if you said it wouldn't last. Well, it's been a pretty stagnant 6 years for Calgary. Not much excitement when it comes to the real estate market. Right across the board, sales, prices, and inventory all stayed relatively flat. But not this year. Oh man. I'm excited to share my perspective on what actually happened in the Calgary real estate market. So I've boiled it down to about 5 reasons, so hear me out. So first off, the government of Canada decided to print off about $5 billion and flooded it into our market. Although it had good intentions, it had a lot of rippling effects across a lot of different industries, Calgary real estate being one of them. I would make a decent sized bet to say that a lot of the stimulus money went right into the Canadian housing market. Just think about it. People got paid to stay at home, which gave them an opportunity to finish off all those renovations. Do the kitchen, paint the walls, or maybe even build that deck. This gave so many people an opportunity to really evaluate where they were at and give them a second opinion of what they wanted to accomplish in life. Maybe the house was too big, maybe the house was too small, but being stuck in your house for more hours during the day really did play an effect on people's thought process of where they were at. So with all that stimulus money, the renovations, the reconsiderations, coupled with the historically low interest rates, gave people an opportunity to utilize that extra buying power to buy that bigger house. Or it was an opportunity to capitalize on the market and buy that additional investment property that they've always been considering. There was quite a bit of people that did capitalize on the opportunity to lock in a mortgage at a super low rate. I've even had friends pay the penalty and remortgage their home because when they did the math, the savings that they would incur with the cheap interest rates actually made sense to pay the penalty up front. Now the next thing to consider is just how fast the prices are growing in both British Columbia and Ontario. Do you know how much it is to buy a regular size house in the surrounding areas of Toronto and Vancouver? A whole heck of a lot more than Alberta. I can tell you that much for free. That's not even including what you have to buy inside Toronto and Vancouver. Prices are getting so out of hand that people are looking for a more realistic economy, and Calgary is definitely up there. I'm truly curious to see how long it's going to take before Calgary starts hitting those crazy numbers like Toronto and Vancouver. I mean, let's be real. Calgary has a lot of great things to offer, and it's not completely off the table. So you remember when I said Calgary had some pretty stagnant years? Well, from 2011, 12, 13, and 14, Calgary was on the up and up. People were pretty confident that the market was never going to slow down because we had so many things going in the right direction. We even cruised through the world financial crisis with ease. Well, let's imagine all of those buyers for a second. Imagine they purchased a property in those years, expecting for the prices to increase. Maybe they had a 5-year plan to slowly step into the market and then upgrade as needed. Well, when oil crashed, it crashed hard. It went downhill pretty quickly, and a lot of Calgary families were stuck in those homes because they didn't want to sell it for a loss. The market wasn't bad enough for them to forfeit their home, but it just didn't make sense to sell their home for less than what they paid for it or just break even. Fast forward to this year, as you can see in this graph, the demand started to show itself in market reports, and bam, all of a sudden it made sense. For everyone holding off over the last 6 years, this was now finally the opportunity that they could get out of that house and proceed forward with that next chapter. So with all that built up demand and things really started to roll, the amount of houses just couldn't keep up with the amount of buyers that wanted to pick up that new home. After a couple of months, more and more sellers started to find themselves in multiple offer situations, which made more sellers confident that now is the time to sell their house because the buying power made sense. It got quite crazy for quite some time. I mean, we even had record-breaking numbers in November, which is something that is unlike any other year. Now let's not forget that home builders also struggled to keep up with demand on the new build side. Lumber prices doubled, which slowed down the progress because builders just couldn't justify spending all of that money on wood. But the workforce also slowed down at the same time, really causing a bottleneck of new homes to be developed in 2020 and 21. So a conclusion to all of this is that Calgary, like many other major cities, experienced a perfect storm. Free money, low interest rates, and an opportunity to reconsider their situation and make other decisions. This is unlike anything we've ever seen before, and hopefully it's the last time that we see it, because this is not sustainable. Of course, I'm happy for a lot of families that capitalize on this market, myself included, but as a wise investor, we always need to plan for that next correction, because it's inevitable. It's gonna happen at some point. Just look at history. So thank you very much for listening to my perspective on the situation. I hope you got a little bit from that. I think it was quite an interesting topic to do a little bit of research on and put my own twist on it. So thank you very much. Don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you next week. Peace.